I do have a last word. It goes a little something like this.
For years, the question has been, what is the Pittsburgh sound? Some would say the style that Wiz displayed on his actual song called Pittsburgh Sound. But other Pittsburgh hip-hop historians would say that's not even it. But to answer that, you must first ask, does the Pittsburgh sound start with the producer or the artist?
Let me ask you, right, because, you know, coming from Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
And then the known city is
Philly.
It's Philly.
Yeah.
How was it harder for you being from Pittsburgh?
It's a long story about Pittsburgh because we were really influential in the early 90s West Coast sound with like Sam Sneed and like Mel-Man and those are people who worked really close with Suge and Dre and Snoop and like really pioneered that sound, but they just weren't in front of everybody. Always had like a direction that we wanted to go in. We just never had anybody to like wave that flag for us. Right. And just being from PA in general, I think is really difficult for a lot of artists, even from Philly, you know, to get noticed or to get looked at and be like, these guys are original or have their own sound. And I think anywhere, you have to really leave and become bigger somewhere else for your city to kind of look at you as somebody. Right. I feel like even if you're in New York, like nobody's gonna call you your rap name. They're gonna call you who they know you from the block. You know what I'm saying? Right. So yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, you have to make yourself somebody and then come back home. And it was the same thing with Pittsburgh. It was a lot of grinding and being a teenager, being somebody who was just trying to find myself as a young adult and you know, make music that was appropriate to who I was and that translated to other people that were doing different things. It took a minute, you know what I'm saying? But and I love Pittsburgh.
Right. There's a lot of dope artists out there.
Man, it's a crazy scene.
Scene's crazy out there.
From the beginning all the way till now, like we have a lot of talent out there when it comes to producers, musicians, artists, cameramen, designers. It's such an artistic city.
Late 80s and early 90s, the West Coast sound dominated the rap game. A few architects that assisted Dre with the sound were from Pittsburgh. An architect named Sam Sneed, who got his start producing for K-Solo in the Hit Squad, went on to produce Natural Born Killers for Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, Keep the Heads Ringing, and even his own classic, Think You Better Recognize, which can still be heard on the popular video game GTA 5 today.
I'm from Pittsburgh. That's where I started at. There's talent, there's just, you know, there's no outlet for it. So, you know, that's why, you know, I actually moved, you know, went to New York. Dre's quality of production, that's what made me shift to go out there. I liked his production, the quality of the music. Like I always thought, you know, Dr. Dre, and like when I came across people, you know, I came across two people, like the second person I met, she actually babysitted for, you know, Dre.
Another architect to help craft the sound is the Mel-Man, who not only was an artist, but a songwriter and a producer of some of the hottest beats of the late 90s and early 2000s, such as Bitch Please 2, No More Drama by Mary J. Blige, The Real Slim Shady by Eminem, Explosive, man, the list keeps going on. Some would say, without him, would Dre's sound even have the same funk? Who knows? But around the same time, the late 90s, early 2000s, another talented rapper / producer by the name MistaYuk had the local Pittsburgh scene on lock, playing more than a dozen instruments. MistaYuk played a part of some of the best rap albums in the Pittsburgh area in the mid-90s and early 2000s. I was fortunate enough to work with MistaYuk at the age of 15. He produced the album for the first record label that I was signed to called With Life Records. I also was the first artist signed to an independent label that he co-founded called Crazy Baby Records. Don't get it twisted, MistaYuk also worked with major artists such as Sticky Fingers, P.D. Pablo, and the list keeps continuing. Since then, MistaYuk has gained his wings. Not only did he leave behind a musical legacy, but he also has some very talented children who to this day keep his legacy alive.
It's MistaYuk, you know who I fuck with close range. Come out the dub, nigga. Born on Larmer, raised out in the wood. The city is mine, nigga. You know what's up. Right now, I'm up there with Swiss Beats. You're ready to do a little show. We're doing a producer show. It's a real live TV show that's going to be on MTV, where you producers battle each other for 24 hours. Whoever got the best beat win, or whatever. And it's like a little reality TV show. And I'm also writing a movie right now called My Brother's Keeper. It's a comedy. It's for New Line Cinema. And if I get that shit cracking, Pittsburgh will be cracking for that music. Shit ain't nothing for it to do. Put a little building downtown, get this shit popping here. That's what's up. You know how we do it. Represent my nigga Mysterious.
Hell yeah, MistaYuk.
Yeah. Now we do. Nigga.
The whole sound of music changed in the early 2000s to more of a digital sound, and everything was futuristic. At the time, my first record label went under. That's when I had a friend named Midway Drake who introduced me to a Mexican producer from Arizona who started out producing at 10, named Mex Manny Beats. Manny had the Mon Valley area of Pittsburgh on Smash, producing multiple local legends in the area. Once he jumped and moved to Atlanta, his producing credits jumped tremendously. Producing artists such as T.I., Snoop Dogg, Gucci Mane, Twista, and even Rihanna and Future, who recorded a 3 times platinum song called Love with 7 E's, which actually won a Grammy for Manny.
My plaque came in. Thank God for everything and all the good people in my life that supported me. Check it out. There it is. Hard work.
Through my career in the Pittsburgh music scene, I've worked or came across some of the most talented producers with all different kinds of sounds. So whether it was MistaYuk, Black Seas, Basshead Productions, Big Just, fast forward nowadays to Stevie B, to me, Pittsburgh never had its own style or identity in music. Because to me, we were all like chameleons. We adapted to whatever influenced us. So on that note, go back and do your history, and you tell me, what's the Pittsburgh sound?
Well, Mike Tomlin's death is a devastating loss to the Pittsburgh rap community, but tonight his friends and family focused on celebrating his life and the many people he impacted throughout it.
It's sad that we're here for him. I never imagined, I don't want to be here for him, but I'm happy that this many people did turn up for him tonight.
Surprised at all. You know, he was that great. He impacted probably everyone who came here today. He probably either met them doing music or met them out and about being silly, goofy, and people just gravitated to him.
It was a party. Literally, every day was a party.
Some describing Tomlin as a triple threat, a man who could rap, produce, and sing.
He was witty, he was creative, he could make a beat out of pencils and a can, and it'd be dope. Like, he was just such
If you're a part of the music scene in this city,
individual.
you've worked with him, and he probably made the best song you have. He's really good.
When you have a light and of divinity, you attract people like a magnet. So I'm just grateful that he had that much impact on every individual that came out today.
On celebrating his life and the many people he impacted throughout it.
3, 2, 1.
As red balloons filled the sky this Memorial Day, those close to Mike Tomlin, affectionately known as Tomlinese, gathered at the Point in downtown Pittsburgh.
We need a beat. Do it again. Let's go.
Welcome to
Come back.
Mr. Delgado and Quody.